When has CG ever done anything for the community? And don't say 4x speed. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. Today, we're going to talk about the new fleet meta. There's been a lot of bugs, and honestly, there's no excuse for CG to have given us this many bugs. Really frustrating release, and but it looks like most of them are gone. There's a few that are affecting GAC, like there's exploits. I'm not going to talk about them, don't want to tell you guys how to do it, but I don't want to spread the good word, but there are still issues, and CG honestly should be embarrassed at how this major release was handled. 100% think it's atrocious. That being said, this isn't going to be a discussion on if CG is an awful human being or not. We're going to talk about the new fleet meta and how it impacts you in your fleet, arena, and in GAC. I also have some footage. I don't know how much we're going to show, depends on how long the video goes, but there's going to be some links in the video description, potentially, or at least some timestamps, so stay tuned for that, guys. Let's not look at that yet. Woo, you guys almost got to see some crazy stuff. That I do want to say huge thanks to my patrons, and you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for your support. Got a couple new ones on the list, folks. Thank you so much for your support. I really couldn't do this without you. Truly appreciate everything about you that I know about. So, also, guys, just a reminder, if you want to help support this channel, all you gotta do is hit that like button, subscribe, comment, say the word algo, or just mount the algo, or do something like that. Leviathan is the new algo. Wait, it's not. It's different somehow. Let's go. Let's start talking about it, guys. If I can find the right button. Holy crap. Holy crap. Whoa. Alright. So the new meta, guys. This is whether you want it or not. We're just gonna give my view of things as it currently stands, alright? Leviathan is now the king fleet. As we anticipated, it's the best fleet. And the Profundity beats it very consistently. And it gets beaten by Leviathan very consistently. The two kind of work side by side in that regard, and then everything else is significantly worse, at least as far as all the playtesting that I've seen so far. So that's how it works. A lot of people have been asking in general, why isn't it just Leviathan at the top? Then no one can beat Leviathan. Why can't people just buy Leviathan and then just park at number 1 in arena forever, or put it on GAC and be unbeaten? And the reason for that, guys, is CG has never really put out a fleet where they, or for that matter, a squad where you can't beat it with some other, like, previous squad. Like, they've always done a pretty good job of saying, like, well, yeah, you probably want Darth Revan. Like, he's pretty great, but you can beat him with other things if you know what you're doing. You can, if you're free to play, you have the old meta, you can figure it out. You know, they won't figure it out for you, but they've made it so the power creep hasn't just escalated to a crazy degree. And the problem with this is also, though, guys, is they were never going to do this anyways, because Leviathan is just not accessible. You can't really buy it. Like, if you're a new player and you see some ad on YouTube and you're like, oh my gosh, Leviathan, I love the games that this was in, I'm gonna start Galaxy of Heroes so I can get it. You can't get it. You can't get it for like 2 years, probably, because everything is hidden behind conquest characters, and you just can't whale out on it. If you want to spend money, you're like, here, I have $1 million, please give me this awesome fleet. You can probably buy someone's account, by the way, for way cheaper than $1 million, but if you don't want to do something illegal or against the terms of service, then you can't get it, guys. You just don't get it, do ya? One does not simply whale out on Malgus or the Fury Interceptor. If you can't complete Conquest, if you haven't completed Conquest because you weren't playing for a while, if you're brand new, if you don't have a big enough account to get these characters, you just can't get it. And so they're not going to just make people just sit there and lose to this fleet that they couldn't have even got in the first place, and like, there's not even a money solution to get through it. So to me, this makes a lot of sense that they're always going to have some kind of counter from the previous meta. Now, to me, this is actually a little bit surprising that this is so far the only fleet that works against the Leviathan is the Profundity. I kind of figured the Executor would have a say, but it seems so far it doesn't really seem like it. And the thing is, Leviathan still does get pretty easily by Profundity, and that's it. Let's actually do a little bit of video footage here, guys. Let's break up the whole monotony of everything, of life, alright? Let's go to... Yeah, this is a good one. So you can see, this is just in my fleet arena. This is against someone with relatively high relics and stuff. I just took 3 ships, though, and... you know, this is just a race, guys. This is my first time against the new meta of Leviathan, but the idea is you race to your ult. You don't want to spend any time doing anything else. Just race for that ult, because once you get the ultimate, then you win, basically. And if they get the ultimate, then they win. That's how it works. But if you have a 7-star Leviathan or 7-star Profundity, then just use that basic. Every time, hand the turn to Dash, unless Dash is about to take a turn. Then you can call him to assist so that you work on your out of turn shots, so that you're able to get more work done on your thing with the stuff, your ultimate. So yeah, just using what we have. We're at 97% here. It's just like I said, it's a race, guys. All right, so we should be there now. Once Profundity gets a turn, then we'll be there. We'll get there, guys. They did delete, though. However, you see, I even prioritized it, but they still deleted the Millennium Falcon, and so that's it, guys. I mean, we can switch to a different video here. Why don't we do that? You guys can check it out. It's not... That one wasn't clean. Like, totally clean, at least. And I actually, if you don't know what the turn priority is, like, you gotta start looking at it. We're gonna have to look at... So this guide, of course, is now meant to be the most definitive, like, this is how you do it forever guide. There's gonna always be ways we can improve and ways we can do it better. However, this is another 3-man attempt on Leviathan, and this one does, I'll just give you a spoiler, goes a lot smoother. Whether it's because I played it better, or because they just didn't have as many relics, or we just got lucky, it's tough to tell, guys. Just one night of testing doesn't really make a huge, crazy amount of difference. Now remember, the Sith fighter is actually really important for the Leviathan mirror match, which we'll probably get into making a video at some point, because mirror matches are something everyone asks me about. However, I will say that, like, this seems very, like, it's going to be pretty consistent. You just have to race to get your ultimate. That's all. That's all there is to it, guys. Just race to get it, and you should be able to get it. You should be able to win pretty easily. So the Sith fighter was what I was saying is good for the mirror match, because it gives turn meter to it. The Profundity doesn't matter. Doesn't care about that turn meter. However, because Profundity doesn't allow for turn meter. So there we go, guys. There's Leviathan dead, and another happy landing. So let's go back here to the slideshow. So, like, easily we beat the Profundity, or we beat the Leviathan pretty easily with Profundity, and people are kind of like, well, why do you have to, like, there's no risk involved? And there is actually risk, I believe. Like, the RNG for assists and everything on Profundity is still really going to screw you out of being able to consistently, completely consistently get it. There's going to be some risk involved. It's not going to be 100% counter. However, it looks like it's going to be mostly consistent, like acceptably consistent. Now, in Fleet Arena, what this means, unfortunately, guys, is you need to get Profundity.
and you probably need a 7-star Profundity at that, because that means you can pass the turn to dash all the time so that it'll escalate getting your ultimate a lot faster. So either that or settle in for some bad crystals, because right now what it's looking like is that's the pathway. You use Profundity or you do the mirror, and that's it. If you don't have those, I don't want to just be like, hey, you suck. But I mean, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. This seems pretty rough. This seems pretty rough for people who don't have Profundity. So I don't know if that means you need to shift your farm or what. I do think I think it means that, like, let's try to face reality here. Profundity is not the meta. It's not the main meta fleet anymore anyways. Like, a lot of people should have been chasing Profundity at this point anyways. I'm not saying that you should have it or whatever. I don't want you to miss out on things. However, it does seem like Profundity or bust at this particular junction. Maybe there'll be more options in the future. I don't know. It doesn't look happy for other fleets right now. I'm guessing we'll find another pathway at some point, but right now it's slim pickings, guys. We'll explore it more though. In GAC, a lot of people are like, man, this makes it so that there's like no choices at all, and I think there's a lot of choices actually. There's a lot of different things. So yeah, Profundity can beat the Leviathan for 77. It looks like that's a consistent thing, or at least consistent-ish, like we've already discussed. But that means that you can't put Profundity on defense anymore. Or you keep Leviathan for the mirror, or you have to find some way to multi-shot. Like, to me, those are the 3 options, and that's a lot of options, however, because that's going to shape what you're placing on fleets. I mean, a lot of times you can just keep a lot of your fleets for offense, and to my opinion, I don't love fleets. If we can just have 3 fleets that we can consistently get high banners on, that seems pretty nice to me. It's just like, hey, let's all just get 77s through fleet and just laugh our way through that zone together, and then have everything decided in squads. To me, that suits my personal preference. But if you want a really tough defense, then you're going to have to find ways around it, and there are ways around it already being developed. So in the mirror, you're going to have Sith Assassin, Relic, Arms race, because the faster the Sith Assassin goes, the more you're going to be able to, the faster your ship is going to be able to go. And so once you get to Relic 9, you realize that you've both put Relic 9 on your Sith Assassin, and you feel bad about things, because you should. That sounds miserable as hell, guys. I mean, I'll probably participate to some degree. I don't know if I'm going to Relic 9 Sith Assassin, because at some point, it's not like a thing where it's like, okay, once you get to Relic 9, you're just like in the clear and you win all of the mirror matches. It's just like, yeah, you win all the mirror matches, except for the ones where someone else also has Relic 9 on their Sith Assassin, and then it's a 50-50. Like, then it's a coin flip. Like, you can't reach a place where you're completely safe, at least not yet in the mirror match. That's what it's looking like right now, is if you start with Sith Assassin in the lead, then it's going to be good. Here, let's actually go back real quick, and I'll show you how Leviathan beats Profundity. I wanted to show you guys a little bit of that as well. Let's see, this is still the old video. Yeah, okay, so Leviathan beating Profundity. Now, one of my biggest complaints still about the Sith fleet, so the whole thing is just survive as long as you can. Try everything you can to survive. I'm not saying my play is optimized, by the way, guys. Just want to show you how this is done, and see, I'm still trying to figure out, okay, should I probably want to slow down Profundity so that it can't take turns as often, is my idea, initially at least. It's really good science, folks. And by the way, my 5-star Leviathan on my alt easily beats Profundity. Well, maybe not easily. It was just like a tiny bit dicey, but I did it, and for good banners, by the way, in GAC. So, seems like that's an option, but the whole idea is you have to survive, and my gripe that I was trying to reference before is you can't even kill a Y-Wing, man. Like, how pathetic. You're like, hey, we're a bunch of Sith, we're tough, we take over spaceships and we dominate things.
Kill a Y-Wing? No, man. You think we could kill a Y-Wing? You're crazy. How does one does not simply kill a Y-Wing? I mean, gosh, what's wrong with you, man? But here's the thing, guys. Okay, so you get the Sith fighter. It's finally unbugged, so it comes in and just kills someone, and then it instantly dies. Dash is like, you will die. Suffer no Mark 6 to live, and it doesn't. But I mean, you can get your ult really quick and beat the Profundity because the AI isn't as good as you. You guys are great at it. Okay, anyways, it's back to the Sith arms race. I don't want to participate in that. I might end up, I'll probably end up with a Relic 7 or 8 Sith Assassin on my main account. My alt account will probably just really rush Profundity to 7 stars moving forward. Probably before I get a 7-star Leviathan. As crazy as that sounds, I probably want a 7-star Profundity first, so that I have a consistent counter, instead of having to do the mirror match madness. Now the multi-shot is looking like Relic 7 Raddus fleets can kill the Leviathan, at least the ship, not the whole thing. You just kill the ship, maybe you kill a couple other fighters, but that's basically it. And we're still testing it. We don't there's all a bunch of different variations, and the Sith fighter starting seems like maybe it's going to give us problems. But let's real quick, we'll go to that, and this is actually footage from my good friend Canada Fett. So huge thanks to him for the footage, for testing, and you guys can look at all the relics that he was using. I don't remember exactly, but he's got a really good resistance, everything, because all of his fleets, or all of his teams, he's so fascinated with some really weird Zori comps and stuff. They're not weird, but this is against Tight Dagger, and what you're trying to do here, guys, is he says he's 9 out of 10 of getting his ultimate, and the one time he didn't do his ultimate was the one time he varied from his own gameplay plan. And so the idea is you want to kill that Tight Dagger as quickly as you can, which he did, and then you just want to, at the end of the whole sequence, so right now you're just trying to trying to do specials when you have foresight. Toward the very end, you start losing momentum, as you'll see. They start really destroying your fleets. That's why you have the bomber come in and just try to take some hits toward the end. And okay, yeah, so the Falcon is just gone. But then at the very end, you can see that the one of the Raddus hands just as a basic to whichever ship has a little bit of has a little bit of turn meter, so that you can get that last little bit in. And so we'll probably do a video on this counter as well, on the double tap, but because there's no hope for your fleet here. You're not going to beat the Sith, but at the same time, you're also not going to you're not going to do that either, guys. You're not going to they won't be able to have a ship after that, so you can clean them up pretty easily. So the final question, guys, is the Executor toast? And it's not a Cylon, and some people get that kind of reference, but I don't want to give up on it yet. All the footage I've seen so far, which I've seen a few testing, I haven't seen an exhaustive amount. Like I keep saying, it's not looking great for Executor. It seems like the odd man out. However, my bet is that it's going to be part of some kind of what we would call an off-meta counter, except, I mean, it is still the third most important fleet, so an off-meta seems a little weird. But if you could find a way to engineer a low banner win that's mostly consistent with Executor, 80%, to me, that might be, you might be able to get some good value. But let's not give up on it. But like I said, poor old Executor, man. That being said, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on the new meta. Do you hate it? Do you love it? Are you glad that fleet loadouts are here so you can switch between Profundity and Leviathan and your fleet climb? Is Leviathan just totally blocking you? Would love to know, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xerath prevails.